Okay, welcome to Independent Exercise 5-9C. This is the Independent Challenge 2 exercise. This exercise is going to cover many of the different tools and tricks we learned this week. And you'll see here, as the assistant manager of a food service company, you are going to be responsible for analyzing the department's revenue. How much money has certain departments made in their grocery stores? The past 2 quarters of revenue are listed in the worksheet. You'll see those in columns D and E, and you will analyze this data using table features. So the first thing they're asking us in step A is to go ahead and download the file il_ex_5-4. This will be provided to you through Mr. Heitkamp. And then to save it as il_ex_5_revenue. Again, this is all step A. So let's move to step B. Using the data in the range A1 through E92, we're going to create a table. So let's just go ahead and click anywhere inside of the table. And a shortcut to do this is just Control T. And you'll see the create a table dialog box. It'll indicate the range for you. And you can go ahead and make sure that it does say my table will have headers and click OK. Now, one of the things they want us to do is give this table a style. And so they're asking us to change the style to light orange, table style medium 24. So your table styles can be found in your table design. You'll have a table styles group here. Click the drop down options. They mentioned that it is table style medium 24. The numbered, you can use the screen tip here. Here's 17 right there. Table style medium 24. And again, the color is light orange. So I'm going to select it, and it's now going to import that style into our table. And then it says go ahead and widen the columns as necessary to fully display the field names. You can see the field names in row 1 are kind of being cut out. So we'll just go ahead and select A through E. And then if I drag E over, currently 13 wide or 96 pixels, we move this out to about 140. We'll go out to 150. Every single one of those columns, A, B, C, D, and E, are now 150 pixels. Much easier for us to read not only the headings, but the contents in the table as well. So, step B is done. Let's move on to step C. Step C asks for us to delete the record in row 5. So, let's look at the record in row 5, employee 18574, his department's customer service, South Division, and then there's our quarter 1 and quarter 2. To delete a row, simply select the row, right click, and just choose delete. All the other rows are going to move up. The other thing they ask for us to do is check the table for duplicates. We don't want to run duplicates. This is good practice and good formatting when you're getting ready to use data to create charts and whatnot. You want to make sure you get rid of this data you don't need. So they want us to get rid of this data using the employee number field. So we would search through these employee numbers, and if I asked you to find the duplicates just like this, that could be difficult. So instead, there's a much easier way to remove duplicates. And so that can be also found in the table design tab. And it's over here in the tools group. You're going to choose remove duplicates. It's going to ask you what row we're going to use as a method to look for those duplicates. I'm going to only choose to remove duplicates with employee ID number, because we're obviously going to have departments that have the same. There might be the same divisions, and even maybe it would be kind of lucky by chance, but if any of our numbers in the quarter 1 or quarter 2 profits were the exact same, it would remove those. The only thing we're looking to do is remove our employees with identical ID numbers. Go ahead and click OK. It's going to tell us there's one duplicate found in the 89 rows, and we're going to click OK and accept that. So now we're on step D, and it's going to ask us to add a field into cell F1, and that field is % increase. Microsoft Excel, being as smart as it is, recognizes we're adding to this table and says, hey, we'll keep that format going for you. It bolds the header, right, in row 1, and it applies the table format in column F. So now, at this point in time, we're going to enter a formula in cell F2, and that formula is going to calculate the percent increase of revenue from quarter 1 to quarter 2. So what percent did they increase from quarter 1 to quarter 2? So to do this, we have to write a formula. So here's a little hint. The formula is going to need to be inside of parentheses. It's going to start with equals left parenthesis. Quarter 2 minus quarter 1 is going to give us the difference, close the parenthesis, and divide by quarter 2. So this is our formula. Go ahead and hit enter, and it shows us these massive numbers. That's not the formatting we want. We want parentheses, and in here, it's even asking us to make the parentheses with 2 decimal points. So we're going to go ahead and click row F, or column F, and then we're going to add the percent style, and then we're going to add 2 decimal points. So there is steps E and F, if you're following along with the textbook as well as you are with the video file. Okay, let's move over to step G. Step G asks us to use a number filter to find the employee's records where a percent of increase is less than 0. Let's just analyze what they're asking first. Let's look at our increase here. I'll widen that a little bit as well. And anything that's greater than 0, all right, they want us to filter those. All right, so to do this, we can click the drop-down button in the filter arrow, and we can actually choose number filters, and we can choose less than, and now we can put the number 0 in there, and we can go ahead and press OK. So what it wants us to do is copy these results. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll just select just like this. Press Control C. It says to make a new sheet. Call this new sheet negative growth. And then go ahead and paste those. And you can widen those columns as necessary as well. We don't need to change it into a table format or anything like that right now, but this just indicates the negative growth. Let's go to step H, where it says to return back to the revenue sheet. Your marquees are still selected. We can press Escape to turn that off. And we're going to remove the filter. So to remove the filter, click the drop-down arrow, choose number filter, and choose, or click the arrow to remove it. Oops, sorry. Clear filter. Here we go. Okay, so we're moving along pretty nicely here. We're now going to move on to step I. This is where we're going to use data validation to create a drop-down list. The purpose of the drop-down list is it restricts anybody from entering data into, in this case, we're going to use the division column, and spelling something wrong or using a division that is not correct. And if it isn't correct, it's going to tell us that, hey, you can't do that. So to use a data validation box to create an Excel drop-down list. So what we're going to do is we are going to select column C, and then we're going to go to data, and this is the data validation tool in the tools group. We're going to choose data validation, and in this case we're going to allow for a list, and in the source our list is going to be the following. It's going to be north, south, east, and west. Again, make sure you spell correctly. All right, this is going to be very, very important for obvious reasons. If you want them to use the right spelling, you have to spell it incorrectly because they're going to choose from a drop-down box. Go ahead and choose OK. So now let's go ahead and test this a little bit to see if we get an error. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to the end of the table, and we're going to insert some new data into the table. And we're going to start this in row 91. We're on step K if you're following along in the textbook. We're going to enter the data as employee number 99999. With a tab, it instantly picks up the table formatting cues, and it next asks us for what department. This is the quality department. You'll notice the autocomplete starts to show up. You could just press enter. All right, this is one way of helping keep things consistent. Now we tab over to Division, and we have a drop-down box. Perfect. Nobody can misspell North when you click the drop-down box and just choose it. So this is the purpose of the data validation. All right. In quarter 1, they want us to enter the number of 5,000, and in quarter 2, 5,100 for a little bit of growth. Now they want us to test this, and this is going to be step L. So we're going to go back into Northwest, and we're going to try to type in Southwest. Let's say some employee of yours gets a hold of this worksheet and they want to make changes. They're like, no, that's actually the Southwest. They think that there's another division. Hit enter, and it says, nope, we're not going to do that. All right, so we're going to cancel that. So it's a nice little warning that says you can't do this. The next step is step M. They want us to add a total row. Well, total rows can be found in the Design tab, and this is just a checkbox right here in the Table Styles option. So we're going to click that checkbox, and it automatically adds the word total, formats it appropriately. We're going to remove from column F the increase. We don't want that. Rather, what we want is the sum of quarter 1 and quarter 2. So we'll just write a little sum function in there. And we can use our autofill and drag that over. It's relative, so no dollar signs needed in the formula for that. Now we're going to move to step N, where they ask us to apply conditional formatting to the percent increase column. So here we again are over in column F, and we're looking at the percent increase column that I've got selected right here. And it wants us to add some conditional formatting for the percent increase of values that are less than 0%. So we've got one right here. They would want this to be different or look different. We want it to stand out. We want it to signal that there's a concern here that we have a loss. So we are going to go ahead and select column F. We're going to find conditional formatting in the Home tab. We're going to click the drop-down box. And again, they're asking us for formats of values less than 0. So we can look at highlighting. Oh, look at that right there. Highlight cell rules less than. Put the number 0 in there. And they want it to be a light red fill with dark red text. This happens to be the first option from the drop-down box. Of course, you can custom format those if you wish them to be different than that, but this red's going to stand out nicely for us to indicate that we've got text, increases that are actually going backwards. Go ahead and click OK. All right, you'll scroll through and you'll see there's a handful of them there. Now what they want us to do in step O is to sort that so that the percent increase column actually displays at the top. Well, this is pretty cool. You can use the sort function. All right, so again, we're going to click row F. We're going to click the drop down, and we're going to sort by color. This is an option for us to sort by what color is in the cell instead of by the content of the actual cell itself. So we're going to sort by cell color. And here we go. The records that indicate that there is a percent increase that is below 0 end up on the top of the document. At this point in time, we've moved to step P, and we're almost done with this exercise. And the step P would be like, well, what would this look like if we were to print this dialog box? All right, so I'm just going to go to File, print. Control P works here as well. And we'll see that our header works its way across the top, but we also see that we only have 4 columns, and I'd really like all of the columns to be on one sheet. In fact, this is what happens. Row 1, row 2, page 2. Row 3 is the last 2 columns, and that's just really hard to read. We have this option here called scaling. We're going to click this drop down, and we're going to fit all of the rows on one page. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I'd rather go all of the columns on one page. That looked a little crunched when we had all the rows on one page. So we'll remove that feature and we'll just keep it all columns on one page. Now all of our columns are here. But if we do print this for people and we hand this out to them and we say, hey, take a look at page 2, well, now they're missing their headers across the top. And this makes it really difficult, especially if we had, again, 7, 8, 9, 10 page document, and they've got to flip back and forth to the headers to see what's on that information. So there's this option called print titles, all right? And so the print titles feature we found back here in the page layout tab, and we choose print titles, and right here, what rows do we want to repeat at the top? So I put my cursor in the dialog box that's available here, and I just select row 1. And now from here, I could do the same thing by going to print preview. And now you see the rows are at the top on page 1. I scroll down to page 2, and they're at the top as well. This makes it really, really handy. This is exercise 5-9, independent challenge number 2. And you have completed it all the way through step Q. So at this point in time, press save, and you are done.